Reddit's IPO is one of the biggest financial events of the year. But why on earth is it one of the most anticipated IPOs of recent times? So stick around, today we'll break down everything you need to know about it, from what an IPO is, we'll cover Reddit's valuations and share price range, why it's such a big deal, even though Reddit is not yet profitable, and we'll try and answer the question to see whether it's worth even considering investing in. Hey everyone, if you're new here, my name's Junaid and I'm a graduate analyst working for a financial service firm in central London. Now let's quickly answer the question, what is an IPO? An IPO, or initial public offering, is when shares of a private company are made available to the public for the very first time. This whole process of a company going from private to public is orchestrated by investment banks. They'll set market values, gauge demand, and even set the IPO date. So the prices and values we're going to cover regarding Reddit today, they aren't set by Reddit themselves, but by the investment bank that's taken them public, which in this case is a multitude of investment banks, but the two at the head are Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs, who are the two lead underwriters in this IPO. Now, why would a private company want to IPO? Well, when a company is private, they'll have a low number of shareholders and investors. They could be employees, the founders, friends and family, and maybe even some professional investors like venture capitalists. Now, since the pool of people is quite small, there's generally a ceiling to the level of money that you can raise as a private company. An IPO provides the company with access to much larger sums of money, since your investors are now the entire general public, ultimately making it easier for you to grow and expand. You essentially now have access to millions and millions of investors who can add capital to the company's shareholder equity. Now, in the case of Reddit, Reddit's IPO has been one of the most anticipated and closely watched initial public offerings of recent times. Now, they've been rumored to IPO for years and years. They actually filed in December 2021, and it's finally happening. They've drawn up detailed plans to launch the IPO and become listed on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker RDDT. Now, one of the reasons this IPO has been so interesting for investors is because Reddit's IPO is one of the first significant social media IPOs since Pinterest's IPO back in 2019, so a full 5 years ago. Now, this Thursday, Reddit is going public, and they've reached a valuation of $6.4 billion, with the stock expected to float 22 million shares into the market. Now, with their targeted share price range of $31 to $34, that means they're aiming to sell 10% of their shares in their IPO. Now, in August 2021, they were valued at circa $10 billion when interest rates were near zero, but now they sit at 2/3 that. And there are even figures that report initial valuations exceeded $15 billion. But essentially, that lower modification reflects the recent reevaluation of the market for the tech sector. Here's an interesting chart that shows the average daily Reddit users as they're affected by big news events and company policy changes. Now, I said earlier that Reddit hasn't turned a profit in their 20 years of operation. Yes, that's right. Reddit has lost money ever since it was founded in 2005. In the last 2 years, 2022, they lost $159 million, and in 2023, they managed to cut that loss down to $91 million, which begs the question, is Reddit a safe investment? Now, the question is Reddit even worth considering as part of your portfolio? You need to bear a couple of things in mind. Historically, IPOs are almost always overpriced, and the price gets pumped in the first couple of days before leveling off. Second, you need to consider the fact that Reddit hasn't turned a profit in the last 20 years. Third, and maybe the most significant point, Reddit is the launchpad for meme stocks. And the question is, will they become one? In the 2021 GameStop incident, an analyst realized that GameStop stock was heavily shorted. He figured out that if the stock went up, if the stock price went up, then the short traders would be forced to cover their position and the price would skyrocket. He began speaking about this on YouTube, and you guessed it, Reddit. The price skyrocketed and traders who held those short positions were left to cover their positions. Could the same thing or something similar happen with Reddit's own stock? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching. If this was useful, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.